cell for 4. Olajuwon rams it home.
Hakeem Olajuwon coming in on the left side, no block out by Mason, and it's just all Olajuwon getting up in the air.
Beyond his dazzling NBA success, Hakeem Olajuwon crafted something just as extraordinary as a player, a jaw-dropping Texas mansion. How did this legend manage this level of success, both on and off the court? Let's get into it. The first thing that hits you is how the mansion is set up like it is both a private fortress and a dream world at the same time. It is worth about $100 million, which is already wild, but the location makes it even more of a power move. It sits in one of those exclusive neighborhoods in Texas where everything already feels elevated, but his property still manages to stand out. The driveway stretches long and wide, the kind of path that makes you feel like you are entering a whole different world. On both sides, the lawns and plants are so perfectly kept that they look like someone painted them instead of growing them. You see the stone columns up front, and they rise like something out of a palace, but not in an old school way that feels stiff. They mix that classic southern vibe with just enough modern touches so it looks timeless. That is the word that comes to mind when you stand outside. Timeless. You know how people talk about players who change the game forever? His home feels like the architectural version of that. Now, once you walk through the doors, the mood shifts. Outside you are impressed, but inside you feel drawn in. The floors are hardwood polished so clean that they actually glow a little when the light hits. And speaking of light, there are chandeliers everywhere. Not the kind you see in regular houses, but the kind that look like they were designed just to remind you that wealth can be art. They hang high and scatter light in such a way that the whole place feels warm rather than cold. That is something I noticed about the house as a whole. For all its size and wealth, it never feels empty or overwhelming. It feels like it was designed to invite people in, to make them comfortable while still making their jaws drop. The entrance leads straight to this massive great room, and when I say massive, I mean it could probably hold a basketball court inside and still have room to spare. But what is nice is that it does not feel like wasted space. There is this huge stone fireplace that centers the room, and right above it are all kinds of things from his career. Jerseys, rings, photographs, moments frozen in time. It is like the room itself reminds you who lives here without him having to say a single word. And it makes sense because Olajuwon was never a loud player off the court. His style was quiet confidence, and the room felt exactly like that. Big but grounded, beautiful but filled with meaning. As you move deeper into the house, the flow continues. That is one of the most impressive things. You never feel like you are walking into separate areas that do not connect. Every room flows into the next, almost like a song where every verse leads into the chorus. The dining area is one of those places where you can picture people having long meals with laughter filling the air. It is not stiff or overdone. It feels celebratory. And then the kitchen just takes the crown. I have to say, it is not just a kitchen. It looks like a stage for a top chef. Stainless steel appliances that shine like they were just unboxed. Granite countertops imported from faraway places that sparkle under the light, and enough space to prepare a feast for a whole team. You can tell that whoever designed this knew that the kitchen is the heartbeat of a home. It is where family gathers, where stories are told, where everyday life happens even inside a mansion this grand. But comfort is where the house truly surprises you. The rooms are not just showcases of wealth, they are places you actually want to sit down in. Some couches and chairs pull you in like they are saying, sit here and forget your stress. Some warm tones and fabrics feel rich but soft at the same time. You get the sense that this mansion was not made just for people to walk through and gasp at. It was made to be lived in, to be enjoyed. That says a lot about Olajuwon because even though he was one of the best to ever play basketball, he has always been described as humble and grounded. This house mirrors that. Grand, yes, but still human at its core. Now you know I have to talk about the gym. It is not some little room with a treadmill and a couple of dumbbells. This is basically a professional training facility built into the house. Machines of every type, a basketball court ready for practice, and the kind of space where you can still hear echoes of the drills and sweat that built a champion. You walk in and you can almost picture him perfecting that dream shake, working out moves that nobody else could stop. Even now, the room feels alive, like it still carries the rhythm of every practice. That is what makes it so much more than a gym. It is a sanctuary, a reminder of what discipline and effort look like when they are turned into legacy. From there, you move on to another breathtaking part of the house, the pool. Let me just say, this pool alone could make you feel like you are in a 5-star resort. The ceiling has skylights that let the sun in, so the water glistens like diamonds whenever light touches it. Around the pool, there are lounge chairs and velvet cushions set up in a way that that makes you want to stay there all day. The design mixes wood and rich textures so it does not feel cold like some indoor pools. Instead, it feels warm and almost magical. You could swim or you could just sit by the water and think either way, it is peaceful. The bedrooms are just as stunning but in a softer way. The master suites open onto terraces that look out over the endless Texas horizon. Imagine waking up and stepping out to a view that stretches forever with the sun rising over it. The rooms themselves are decorated with furniture that feels one of a kind, pieces that were clearly made just for this space. The fabrics are rich, the colors warm, and the closets are so big you could mistake them for mini stores. Sneakers lined up, suits arranged in perfect order, everything set like it belongs in a lifestyle magazine. Yet it does not feel showy. It feels organized, precise, and intentional, the same way Olajuwon played basketball. But there is this one part of the property that almost feels like a secret, and that is the garden hidden behind ivy walls. It is like walking into a completely different world. Trees heavy with flowers and fruit, winding paths where you can just stroll and breathe. You get the sense that this is where he probably goes when he wants to disconnect from everything. It is private and quiet, a place where you can actually hear yourself think. I feel like if you are someone who spent years in front of roaring crowds, having a spot like this is priceless. It is like a balance to the noise and fame. Outside the main house, the grounds stretch on like they are determined to keep surprising you. Tennis courts sit ready for a match, framed by colorful flowers and grass so green it looks unreal. There is even a driving range for golf, so you can just step out and practice swings as the sun sets. Water features run softly in the background, and birds chirp like the estate itself was designed to feel alive. It is not just space for recreation, it is an entire environment crafted to bring joy, calm, and movement all in one. What really makes this mansion special, though, is that it feels like an extension of Olajuwon's life. Every corner carries a piece of his story. The basketball court in the gym speaks of his years as a player. The luxurious yet comfortable rooms reflect his humble nature. The hidden garden shows his love of peace and reflection. The grand design of the house overall mirrors his stature as someone who is not just an athlete, but a legend. And it also has its playful side. The home has all the modern tech you would expect, like voice-activated lighting that can shift moods instantly, a theater room with a massive screen, and even a wine cellar where the bottles themselves tell the story of milestones in his life. It is a place where legacy meets technology, where history meets the future. People who have been inside always say they feel something different in the air. It is not just wealth or beauty, it is energy. It is greatness paired with humility, ambition paired with peace, and that is the essence of Hakeem Olajuwon. The house is not about showing off, it is about expressing who he is and how far he has come. It is about reminding people that success is more than money. It is about roots, culture, family, and faith. When you stand in that house, you feel the lesson that dreams are built brick by brick with patience, discipline, and belief. Sometimes when think about it, the house is almost like a living highlight reel. You look out from the balconies, past the gardens and tennis courts, and watch the Texas sunset paint the sky in gold and orange. In that moment, you remember the man who once ruled the court with grace and power, who led his team to championships, who represented his country, and who left the game as one of the best to ever do it. Now, he has built a mansion that is just as iconic as his career. It is not just a house worth $100 million. It is a story in stone, a legacy preserved in architecture. Thank you for watching till the end. What do you think of Hakeem's legendary mansion? Leave your thoughts down in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more exciting videos. Bye for now.